that was the mega region. Who's got a key question? One of the things that we always want to know about are the risks and the threats. Are there risks and threats to this region specifically? Richard?
I would be curious, do you have a developmental process or plan that would sort of say, what will the region look like in 5 years, 10 years, in terms of strategic goals or objectives from our development? And are those specifically targeted to the different areas?
Wow.
Clusters?
So in a word to answer that whole thing, no. We do have, at the end of the first year, we developed a strategy, and it was a long term. We kind of broke it down into certain time frames, but no. The answer, the detailedness that you're looking for, no. We continue to work on refining and kind of pulling together what do these industries look like. I mean, one of the interesting things is when I started this, we'll very soon have kind of layers that you'll be able to go under, say, advanced manufacturing and click on aerospace. Like I say, when I started this, I was told, there's no aerospace left in San Diego, there's no manufacturing. Now, from what I've read about it now, compared to what it used to be like 30, 40, 50 years ago, you're right, it's not. But it turns out there's a lot more than you think, and there's a lot of cross-border relationships around supplying, suppliers and things like that. So as we work together around these, we're beginning to kind of develop these kind of individual strategies and kind of what we think. But we fit kind of our strategy within Sandags and others, kind of what they see for the larger community.
Other questions? Go now.
So how does economic opportunity and development in the region translate into reduced violence in Mexico and poverty in Mexico? I know it's a big question, and there's a lot of elements to that, but I throw it out and let you answer it any way you want.
Well, thank you for asking that question. Mexico, I could have done the whole evening and talked about the progress that Mexico's made. In spite of all the horrible things that have happened, Mexico's actually made a lot of progress, both in their financial, really, especially in their financial, but it's not the kind of stuff that makes the front page of anything. When you do the due diligence and put in the hard work and strengthen your laws and things like that, it takes time, and it's just not sexy stuff. So economic development, working together like this, is the key to improving the livelihoods, of folks across the border. I started from the beginning because depending on the group that I would talk to, sometimes people would say, well, I live in this part of the county because it's as far away that, from the border as can be. And still be in San Diego County. And my response always is, okay, so here's one reason why we're doing this. Because if people across the border have good jobs, they won't necessarily want to come here. It's in our interest to work together towards this end. And the interesting thing is, Mexico has moved into becoming more of a middle-class country. There's more disposable income. There's still huge problems. I won't pretend like that there aren't. It would be dishonest. But working together to address these problems without even having to say we're addressing them, by attracting companies which are good paying companies with skilled jobs that benefit our companies here. And I'll give you an example because I kind of meant to touch on this before. So again, there's a lot of concern about, well, these jobs are going overseas, whether they go to Mexico or China. They're still not in the United States. And I go back to my comment about globalization. Globalization is here. Those jobs are gone. They are not coming back to the United States. So the question is, how do we benefit from having Mexico right literally next door to us? How can we figure out a way to work together to benefit? And what I've learned from now, company after company can tell me and show me the numbers and say, okay, I'm a company that has a facility in Tijuana and a facility in Vista, and by having that facility in Tijuana, not only do I get to retain the people in Vista, I'm actually growing the number of people that I can hire. So that's an example where we both win. Long term, of course, doesn't solve all the problems. That's what policy's for.
Mark, you have the last one here, okay?
I've noticed huge positive efforts from the mayors of Baja California, and they've had all kinds of visitations. And we have as part of Heartland, we have a manufacturing venture that goes to Tijuana and El Cajon together. It works very symbiotically, positive for both countries. The biggest problems we've had, and I know there's been all kinds of effort on this, is the time it takes to transport goods across the border. And that's something everybody's been working on. I know the mayor's worked on a long time. Are there approaching breakthroughs on that?
I don't know. Breakthrough. Are you going to get into that? You know what? I'm going to
well,
leave that
all
for.
right, because it's something.
Yes, it is. And yes, I know the new mayor has made a lot of trips south, but I want you to know that this mayor, when he was mayor, also I did a lot for promoting not only Cali Baja, but I mean every time I was at an event across the border, he was across the border. So it's nice to see that it's a trend that's continuing.
And that Innovadora is something we could support.
Yes.
That was a terrific event. I know
Yes.
that you worked on it too. Sandra.
So the reason I go across the border so much, and I'll just start with that, is because it reminds me of when I was in college. Every day across the border, no matter what you're doing, it's like a vacation day from my perspective. I just wanted to start in where.
And I'm going to jump in so we can put your slides up, okay, Jerry?
Okay.
All right, so we got to do a little bit of reset here. So
Let's do it quickly.
we'll do it quickly.